Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Wargiven Racing Podcast, episode number 28, previewing the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, cutting it a bit close to qualifying, which starts in a half hour here. So I'm going to do a quick little preview for y'all just to get my thoughts on this upcoming race weekend out there before the on-track competitive action kicks off. So just a quick look at the track background as is standard on this channel. This is the second race at the Jeddah Corniche circuit with 27 different turns and 3 DRS zones. The track is 3.836 miles or 6.174 kilometers, and the race tomorrow will be 50 laps. Last year's race was the penultimate race of the season and had lots of controversy because of the tight championship battle between Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton. It honestly was the only race of F1 so far that I have actively turned off. As I watched it on replay because I was at work while it was live, and I did not finish watching the race. Instead, I watched the YouTube highlights because I was that turned off by the controversy on track and the shenanigans by all the drivers last year with the red flags and the contact on the backstretch. To me, it wasn't a good look for F1, and it honestly, looking back on it now, kind of previewed what was going to happen in Abu Dhabi with everything going on there. So, with that being said, I'm happy that this race is now the second race of the season. Well, as happy as I can be when it comes to racing in Saudi Arabia. Obviously, controversy has not escaped this year's edition, as yesterday there was a incident, so to say, near the track that caused much discussion about whether this race should be going forward due to safety issues and all of that. Not going to get into that here today as we are talking about this upcoming qualifying and race session, and I don't want to ramble on about that. So the 3 DRS zones on the track are located between turns 20 and 22, 25 and 27, and then the pit straight. So pretty much that first half of the track, you don't have any DRS help, unlike the F1 game, which they got completely wrong. In terms of where the first DRS zone is. And then you've got a lot of help on that back stretch. As a track, I actually kind of like it in terms of its nature. It's very fast, and I don't mind seeing that. My issue with it is it's extremely narrow because it's a street course. And that, it being a high-speed street course, to me, that's counterproductive because of the space. Honestly, if this was a open style track, I probably wouldn't have as much issues with it because it's got, room. There's no room here, and if you make mistakes, you hit the wall pretty hard, as Charles Leclerc and Mick Schumacher demonstrated last year. And then the final thing on this track background is the 3 tire compounds that they selected for today's race are the C4 soft, the C3 medium, and the C2 hard. This is a step softer from last week's race at Bahrain. So I'm probably going to guess that there's going to be 2 stops, maybe 2, 3 stops, depending on safety cars. I think we're going to see a lot of safety cars because of the tight nature of the track. So with that being said, let's get into some quick predictions. For qualifying, I have Max Verstappen taking pole. The man probably had the best qualifying lap of the season up until the final corner last year, where he slapped the wall and was unable to finish it. I think this year he's going to complete the lap. He's going to have that pace, and in practice, it seemed like the Red Bull was the quickest car on one lap. So I'm going to go with Max Verstappen first. I'm going to have Charles Leclerc on the outside, or on the front row, my bad. On the front row in P2, followed up by Sergio Perez, Pierre Gasly, and Carlos Sainz, rounding out the top 5. My picks for going out in Q1 are both Williams drivers, Mick Schumacher, Nico Hulkenberg, and Daniel Ricciardo. I think those 5 will go out in Q1, and then obviously, the middle 10 will be just up to random. I'm not going to predict that. That'd take too much time here. And then going on to the race, like I mentioned, I'm expecting a 2 to 3 stop race. tire wear last year seemed to really affect the drivers. And because of the broken up nature of the race with the red flags and the safety cars, we didn't really see it, how it would affect over a stint, because they would come in during the red flag, they'd change tires, which is another rule I disagree with in F1. And it just, this year, it will be interesting to see how the full race plays out. I think two stop is going to be the minimum. And I think overall that we saw last week, the Ferrari was better on its tires. So that's why I have Ferrari finishing 1 and 3 in the race, with Verstappen finishing second. I think Red Bull's going to try that ambitious one stop with Perez, who can manage the tires, but I just think that he'll lose too much time in that first stint, and he can't push hard enough to, keep those hard tires for the rest of the stint. So I see him finishing outside the top 5. I see Lewis Hamilton bouncing back in terms of pure pace. I think while qualifying might not go Merck's way, I think they're going to have a better race pace. And his racecraft is obviously second to none, really. And that same goes for Fernando Alonso. I think they'll make the top 10 for qualifying. I don't think they're going to be very quick on one lap, but I think throughout the race they'll build up some momentum. They'll use their experience and whatnot. And honestly, I have got more faith in their strategists to make the correct calls than others. So yeah, that's my kind of surprise pick for the top 5 in the race is Fernando Alonso. I don't think the Haas will have the speed they had last week at this track. They've already had more mechanical problems this weekend. Kevin Madison has never raced here, didn't really get to practice in first and second practice, so I don't see him doing really well. Mick Schumacher last year crashed, and he had some mechanical problems, I believe, yesterday as well. So I see Haas having a more traditional weekend for them, I guess. But then Alfa Romeo-wise, I see Valtteri probably scoring low-end points. I see AlphaTauri, they've been quick, but both drivers have had problems. Yuki had problems in free practice 2. Gasly had practice in free practice 3. Honestly, the fact I put him in 4th place for qualifying is I think they're going to get the car repaired. They might not get the car repaired. So I'm a bit divided on that. I don't think they're going to have the race pace to be in the top 5. Aston Martin looked nowhere. Williams looked nowhere. McLaren looked better, but still nowhere. So I don't really see them contending for the top 5 unless a ton of drivers get knocked out. So yeah, my top 5 in the race: Charles Leclerc takes his second victory, extends his lead. Max Verstappen, Carlos Sainz, Lewis Hamilton, and Fernando Alonso rounding out that top 5, with Verstappen taking pole in the qualifying today. So then just taking a quick look at the standings and see how my predictions would impact them. It'd still be Leclerc and Sainz in first and second, and I believe Lewis in third. Red Bull obviously will get points on the board, but I don't really see them jumping up too high. I mean, obviously higher than where they are. They're probably going to be third, but they're going to be a lot of points behind Ferrari. And I feel like, their mechanical issues are not done, whether it be Red Bull or AlphaTauri. I don't think it's done. And that's unfortunate because they've got probably on single pace or one lap pace, they have the fastest car. So with that being said, I'm going to end it here. Qualifying starts in about 20 minutes. If you watch this before qualifying or if you're watching this after, put your comments down in the comment section if you've got predictions for who's going to win tomorrow's race, if you watch this before the race tomorrow. If not, well then, I appreciate you watching a preview race after the race has happened. If you like what you see, give it a like button. Keep watching the racing. We've got F1 starting in 20 minutes. We got NASCAR trucks starting in 20 minutes. NASCAR Cup qualifying was interesting today at Coda. Um, and yeah, it's going to be fascinating. What what's going to happen this year at Jeddah that makes it either a good race, a bad race, a controversial race, which it already is, for multiple reasons. Um, will it be better than last year? I think it will. I think the drivers won't be stupid like they were last year because it's not the second to last race of the season, which I'm happy about. But, Ferrari's going to keep their strong start going. And Merck's going to look for damage limitation, and I don't know what Red Bull's going to do because they've got a 44-point gap to make up, and I'm seeing it increase. So, yeah, Red Bull's double DNF at Bahrain's really going to haunt them for, in my opinion, most of the season, if not all the season. But, that's my thoughts. I'm going to leave it here. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Enjoy the racing. Watch the racing. Watch as much racing as you can to kick back and relax after a long week. And, yeah. Hopefully, I'm a Williams fan, so hopefully Williams can do something. I don't think they will, but, I'm going to cheer for them anyways, like the idiot I am. Thank you so much for watching, and